Yeah.
You said Tom is coming, right?
Yeah. So I.
I know exactly how to get it. I don't know. Talk to Dan. My experience were from last year.
You were sighing over there. I thought you were sighing over there.
You know, I haven't done it in a while. So what would your restaurants be around?
Griffin's Ridge Trail, parking at the tennis court. You know. Oh. This is for next week. DPW, yeah.
Well, I know we have a Department of Public Works. So.
For question for Tom. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, calling the Round Lake Village Board of Trustees Workshop Meeting for May 1st to order. Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of business is the bell tower bid review and award. Peter, oh, there you are. You want to take us through this?
After looking at, we received 4 proposals on the bell tower. And looking at the proposals, I would choose Green Yard Structures. They did the most intense survey of what's there inside and outside structurally. They're the biggest company. They're not the lowest bidder, but I think they can get it done and, you know, in a much faster than the other bidders. If they get the bid, they will start, probably, they have it will be constructed by the Amish people in Pennsylvania, then shipped here. And probably in August, September, they will install not to interfere with, coffee being over the summer. So I think their bid is $130,000. I'd probably recommend a 15% contingency on top of that. That's my choice.
The engineer, did you know this or?
The village engineer is
He's not,
he's
yeah.
a civil engineer.
Well, they're gonna go through and have an engineer come do,
Oh, yeah, they'll give us structural drawings before they start.
okay. Cause I know there is tie-ins to the existing.
Yeah, right. So they will give us all that before they start. They didn't want to go through the constantly getting stamp drawings for just a bid.
Pardon?
So while we're talking about construction, I just want to bring up also, we had to change on the temporary ramp for the, it looks like we're all set to redo the concrete ramp here for the post office. We have the concrete guy, the railing guy, everything's set. We had a little problems with the temporary ramp, they're going to install a temporary ramp on May 10th. We'll install the temporary ramp and then the concrete guy can get going. We'd like to have the whole thing done before the end of the night.
Did we, have a couple of questions?
Sure,
This dream yard,
yeah.
they have a Clifton Park address, but they're Amish.
Yeah, reality is the company is not owned by the Amish,
Oh.
owned by somebody else who uses the Amish to build everything that they build. They have a great website, you can see what, their work. And so everything gets built in Pennsylvania and it's shipped here.
There's a parentheses about 2/3 of the way down. I'm not sure I understand why it's there or means it. There's a couple bulleted items and it's between the bulleted items. Various structural deficiencies mentioned in Lacey Taylor Riley Wilson Round Lake Auditorium Master Plan dated March 2021. They're going to bear the.
No, they're not, but they're, you have to be, there's a lot of the new structural tie-ins in the old structure. We're gonna take the old beams out of there and put new ones in, and they still will tie into the older structures. And, we had an architect go through this building, I'm gonna say 5 years ago, and he identified some structural issues, but we don't think they'll affect anything that they're doing.
But they're asking for release
Yeah,
Yeah.
in case it does.
they're pissing off the building right now.
Right, unless in case they drop the roof on the,
Right.
As long as they bring in a competent engineer. That's very important, it's having a competent structural engineer. Make sure the plan is acceptable.
So no expert. But I'm a little confused by these bids in that they are apples and oranges. Like Green Yard says they want one for new foundations. All the others say you need a foundation. One of them says they were gonna use green timber, which is green is huge size. One of them says that they are going to redo the cupola or whatever the part that's still sitting there, and they said these guys are basically gonna throw that. So are they gonna fix it, or are they gonna?
They're gonna duplicate it, they're gonna use the roof that's on the cupola with the point and duplicate the belfry and the cupola on top. If the everything's worth saying.
So I guess we can, so. Process wise, is I don't know how to compare these bids because they're radically different from each other. So I think you're right, the DreamWorks one or Green Garden, I mean, it's pretty good. But if you compare it to the others, it's like the others are doing things that they're not doing, and they're not doing things that the others are doing. One of them wanted to put bollards up to protect the structure, so nobody gets hit by a car, we didn't ask for that, I don't know what we asked for. And I don't know what they're bidding on producing, so we would end up signing a contract for something that we literally don't know what they're going to build. So do we need to ask for an intermediate step of having drawings done before we decide to go forward with the full project? Because you don't normally just toss $100,000 at somebody and then say, yeah, build me a thing. And what's further, are they building that? Are they building the one which is one picture of it? There's another picture of it over there. There's what's sitting over there. So has anybody talked about what we want built?
I think the building, as it was, exactly how it was.
How do they know?
Exactly, it was, it's not enclosed on the bottom. We had that option if we wanted to close at the bottom.
I don't think we do, but I mean, we haven't even talked about it.
Right, they're gonna give us exactly what was there. What was there, was there for 135 years. They looked at the foundation and said, we don't need to do any foundation work. What was there lasted 135 years.
What was there was replacing needs. That's what I was told.
What was there as what?
Was replacing the eights.
Not the foundation.
Not the foundation, no.
Oh, not the foundation. No, that's the
Yeah.
material.
Everything else.
Okay.
Peter, will all the wood be replaced? Or are they going to try to combine?
No, everything will be replaced. The idea is to go in the building itself, cut the beams that are inside the building, so they can take them out through the roof. Because it punctures the roof, or take them out from the inside, but they, in order to replace, to put new beams in, they gotta get the old ones out of there. Some of the old ones are tied into existing structures, so they gotta do that, it was, you know.
I'm not finding an answer to what I'm looking for. We have a wood structure there that fails. Is the new structure that they're going to build going to be made of entirely new materials except for the bell? Because they have here that they're gonna reuse the existing. Well, I'm not sure in this context what a thing is. Is that something the metal piece on? top?
Yeah, that's the most.
So all the wood is going to be replaced.
Right, everything, it's all, will all be all new.
Okay.
And the bell will play.
And, yeah.
And the what?
We have
Oh.
a different,
It will
a
ring.
different means of bringing the bell, so we don't have to go through the window if we want to start it. I mean, I think this, one of the first stages is for them to come to us with drawings. Nobody wants to invest, a lot of money on stamp drawings for a $150,000 job. You're not gonna get it. I mean, I've been in the business for 50 years. You're not gonna get drawings for, engineered stamp drawings for a job that's small. They'll do it to get it, but not for a big.
What is there an intermediate step where we prove them?
Here's a question, why did we not get an engineer to have them draw up the drawings
Because
and then put the bid out for?
we went to our engineer and we asked him to put it together. I waited about 6 weeks and he finally came to me and said, Peter, I'm a civil engineer, not a structural engineer. We need a structural engineer to do it. We hired a company to put together some specs for us. And they thought the best way to do it is to build it not exactly where it was, but on the lawn, a new tower, separate and total. I think my feeling is you want to keep it historically possible. So that went out the window. So everyone I spoke to about doing this, I said, I want exactly what's there. I want you to build me what was there, exactly like it was. And I think that's what they came in to say, this is what we're going to do, so they give you exactly like it was. The reason I like DreamYard is because they spent a lot of full day here, a number of people looking, going inside, outside, looking at all the different connections. They seem to have the biggest crew. I thought, okay, these people they're highly recommended. recommended by Peter Belmonte. So I said, okay, I like that, you know, I had good rapport with them. I thought Tall Pine was also, you know, but I thought all of it is, you know, we could go with any of them, but I think, to me, I'm looking at getting, you know, starting and getting it done this year, and this company could do that.
I mean, I want it done this year, but I want it done right too, so if I have a choice, right is right.
I believe they're gonna get it done right. I have confidence in that. You know, I think they're a good company.
Well, I think if we went out and we got a spec by somebody who knows this kind of stuff, you're not gonna go.
No. The one guy who bid from Tall Pines, is the one person working with them is the leading expert on timber framing. He's written all the books on timber framing. He is considered to be the leading expert. But they're a small little outfit, and I just think, you know, I want somebody who comes in here, and this is what they do every day, and I want it to be done this year. They spend the most time looking at it. I'm very confident that they have the ability to pull it out.
I mean, I agree with Eric in many respects, but I also have a lot of confidence in Peter. And, you know, he's advised us over the years and I tend to lean towards going with his recommendations. And maybe we just have to have a little bit more oversight as to what's going on when we start this.
Well, right, I guess that's my question. Contractually, there's this intermediate step of getting the plans drawn and stamped.
Right.
We think regardless of who does the work, the plans need to be created and stamped. So you have an intermediate step there that says, we want to review and approve what that is before they move forward. So with there's a complete assumption that they will do the whole job, right? We got that for that, but we have to approve everything before they start building.
I think I haven't looked at their payment schedule, but I'm sure that they will say, this payment is X amount of dollars, and that will include the drawings and, whatever they.
Okay, right. Another question, is 15% a reasonable contingency?
It's a typical contingency.
Is it, I don't know if it's
Yeah.
15%.
It depends on what they find, what they get into. Being in the field, that's, what, like $20,000-ish? That can go pretty quick, or it can go long. But I know from experience that it can go either way. This is also the company that I was leaning towards, based on, I just looking on the internet, looking at some of the things that they've done. I think we should put in a clause that before, maybe pay for the engineered drawings through them, and have a clause to make sure that we can prove the drawings prior to starting work. Because they have to have standard drawings before they start work anyways. So if we,
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
if we were to put in a clause that we are to, before they start work and are guaranteed the rest of the contract, that we have to approve the standards to make sure that we get what we want through and through, both with the spec in regards to the specs, means and methods, and everything involved.
Okay, so we have, the bid includes engineered sealed drawings. If we want to review those drawings and ensure that they are, they comport with the specs here. So that we have a chance.
I think we could say that we're gonna give you the award for the tower. Up front, we'd like to have the drawings, the stamp drawings up front before you start assembling it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll run that by you.
And I'm not even opposed to making that a payment milestone. Right?
Right.
Right, we'll pay them to do that, because that is an activity that is important.
Okay.
I would also say, we own those drawings once they're done with them. Is that?
I think they're implying that here, but we'll make it clear.
Okay, I will run that by you, make sure we get the drawings
Right.
up front before we.
Okay, well, we have to have a contract. You know, we have specs here, but I've got to put in the usual stuff and then.
We don't have a lot of, yeah, we need a contract. I'll talk to them tomorrow and explain to them how we're gonna do that. And
But when they generate the drawing, we have a chance to look at it and make sure that we're both paddling in the same direction.
Okay,
Or indemnification. Is there a problem? They have the customer will agree to release contractor and any subcontractor from liability relating to existing building structural conditions. Is that a problem for us? That's down at the bottom.
I'm sorry, just ask that.
Is
Is that legit? Yes.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yes.
From my experience, what that is they're working on the bell tower and something structural in the back of the building has a separate issue, they're not liable.
They're also not liable if the roof caves in because of the other half of the building not being structural. I get it. I just want to make sure that our language is good.
So at this point, we will approve DreamYard pending approval of a contract at next meeting. Does that make sense, Tom?
yeah, we could approve the contract and get them started on, we'll pay them for the drawings, their stamp drawings.
Just so there's something official saying that they're the ones
Yeah,
we intend to go with. So a motion to do so?
I would just guarantee the drawings. But you just guarantee the payment of the drawings, don't offer to pay for them upfront as being something separate from what they've got existing there.
yeah. I think we can, I think I can say, if you got the bid, we first want to see your drawing, we'll pay for your drawings, yeah.
So motion to, I will move to accept the DreamYard Structures bid pending a suitable contract can be arranged to be reviewed at the next village board meeting.
Which would include the drawings.
There's no way to print those out.
No, that's,
I mean, our next meeting is what we can.
yeah, okay.
2 weeks.
I think we would need to approve it, and authorize and direct the mayor to sign a contract,
And
that is consistent with the language of the bid and a form acceptable to the board.
You got a second?
No
second,
discussion?
Well, we just do discussion.
I mean, yes, but that was pre-discussion. This is the official required discussion after a motion. After a second. Tom?
Yes.
Jason?
yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Yes. Next order of business, the issue of parking on both sides of Janes Ave has come up. Looked on Google and coincidentally, they have the aerial satellite photo has cars parking on both sides, and that's kind of funny. Could could be working on the house. I don't know, but that has caused problems with buses and, you know, people getting worried about it. So I thought I would take this opportunity to bring it up, and some of the possible solutions are do nothing and live with it. Allow parking on tennis court side of the road, A, in this diagram. Allow parking on Koval on the side of the courts here, B. Or allow parking on Koval towards Route 9, C, along here. Nobody currently lives here, so nobody would complain about that if it were to go into effect prior to anybody buying the house. So those are some of the options, and a nice little historical photo of the tennis courts 100 and something years ago. Which is the month of May's calendar picture for those of you who bought a calendar. Pardon? This one, the tennis.
Oh, wait, you buy-
It's in the month of May calendar.
Oh, the month of May, yeah.
For the Round Lake calendar. It's also in a book, and this is the old the baseball field. Oh, there's all sorts of.
Are the roads wide enough for hiking?
Yeah, there's plenty of shoulder. Yep, there's plenty of shoulder there. Bear with me, this is a new computer and I'm getting used to it. That it? Oh. Good Lord. Okay, that's a close-up view of A. Normally cars park along here. Have for years. And here's the other side. The north side of the tennis court. Here's along Koval. And here is, how is it? Oh, it's not too bad. Along Koval heading down to the lake. There'd be room for cars to park parallel to the road. And I think that's it. So that is open for discussion for the board.
I have to suffer from the inability to get up too early in the morning. And every time I drive by the tennis court, I never see. Yeah. So I made some inquiries and asked how big a problem this was. And it sounds to me like it's a tempest in a teapot. I'm told that these people go down there, they're down there 8, 9 o'clock.
AM or PM?
What's that?
AM or PM?
AM.
Ah, okay.
I'm told that. And they're gone. And you can only get X number of people on the courts at any given moment. And they play about an hour. And maybe you got another group comes in. But this isn't something that goes from 8 in the morning till 1 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Well, it's too.
I mean, there are a lot of cars there. I walk my dog by there quite a
You said
bit.
there's 8, 10?
10, no, it's 4, 5 maybe. I mean, I have seen cars parked along B here and a couple on this side and a couple on this side.
Well, I guess the other thing I'd say is there a tail that's wagging this dog, or is there a groundswell of public?
No, I do not recall where the complaint came from, but it was just congestion here. Might have been someone with the school buses here. One of the, that's for another meeting.
This is,
Yeah. This is different,
This is
yes.
parking.
This is parking. Noises is,
I thought those two were tied together.
I don't know.
No, but most of the use is pickleball. Most of the use is pickleball. And I know Victorian Landing had an active group for a while, and some Griffin's Ridge folks come on over and play, and my wife plays, you know, so.
So if we were to carve out, say, 3 parking spots in location B, where you can pull those in, would that that should aid in the congestion on James Ave? And then we just have to inform no parking on grass. It's hard to tell from the picture if you could fit three cars there.
Probably could fit 3 in there, but that would be kind of a substantial loss of green space, so to speak.
But are you talking about parallel or nosing?
Jay, you said,
I
no,
said
going nose,
nosing
right?
in. Could you fit 3 parallel?
Probably, yeah. This is true. Yeah, you can fit 3 along here as well. I'm pretty sure.
It's a tempting to. So I would suggest leave it.
Leave it alone.
So monitor the situation,
I would be fine with one.
Yes.
Yes.
monitor the situation, collect data.
And if it becomes a real problem, you know, we have to go after it. Yeah, but it's not serious. Hey, this isn't ball fields.
I mean, yeah, you could ask,
There's a couple people here to play.
huh?
There's a couple people here to play pickleball.
Yeah, I went, like, I talked to the Kincaids, they go down and play tennis and pickleball down there. It's not that crazy.
All right, so monitor and revisit.
See
Ne-
how busy it is.
Next on the agenda is the issue of deductibles. The issue is, we've had a couple instances in icy weather where a village truck has hit a resident's car. I was surprised to learn that there is no recourse for the owner of the car because municipalities are immune from that kind of liability under 99% of the cases. And that doesn't seem terribly fair, so we wanted to by board resolution, allow the village to pay the deductible at least up to $500. And that's what was sent around to you folks earlier this week or last week. So I shall I,
What I sent to draft local law.
the draft local law or the amendments? Yeah, that I have. That's right there, but not the local law. I might have.
No, this is a resolution to, schedule a public hearing on a local law. Which provides that if, a village,
Okay, I got you.
a village vehicle responding to an emergency situation.
Right.
Damages a legally parked vehicle.
So I'll read it.
The village will reimburse deductible up to $500. Since the person doesn't have collision insurance, they don't have a deductible, the village will pay up to $500. If the owner of the vehicle shows us that he or she has spent that amount of money getting it fixed.
Yeah, I'll read it. No, I will read what Tom just said in a motion form. Whereas the village of Round Lake from time to time during the maintenance of its roads and real property causes damage to roadside vehicles. And whereas the village is not liable for non-intentional damage caused by the operation of its emergency vehicles in emergency circumstances, such as the clearing of snow. And whereas the village board of trustees believe it to be in the interest of the community to assist those owning vehicles damaged by the village in emergency situations, now therefore it is resolved that a public hearing be held with respect to the proposed amendment of chapter 168 of the village code on the 15th day of May 2024 at 6:30 at the village meeting room at 49 Burlington Ave, Round Lake, New York, at which time all persons wishing to be heard shall be heard. Chapter 168, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 7, Reimbursement in Special Circumstances. 168 -30 legislative intent is, it is the intent of this local law that persons owning motor vehicles which are damaged by vehicles owned by the village of Round Lake may obtain financial assistance from the village under certain circumstances, providing that the damaged vehicle was legally parked when damaged. Implementation 168-31. When a parked vehicle has been damaged by a vehicle owned by the village of Round Lake, when such damaged vehicle has been legally parked, the owner of such vehicle may request that the village pay his or her insurance deductible up to a maximum of $500. If such owner does not have insurance covering the damage sustained, he or she may present written proof of such damage and shall be reimbursed for such damage up to a maximum of $500. In order to be eligible for such reimbursement, the applicant must show that his or her vehicle was legally parked at the time the damage was sustained. Confirmation that the damaged vehicle was legally parked by the village highway department shall be sufficient proof. Where such confirmation is not available, the Board of Trustees shall consider such proof as it deems appropriate and decide whether the subject vehicle was legally parked at the time the damage was sustained. When the board determines that the conditions of this provision have been made, such payment shall be made to the owner of the damaged vehicle. Do I have a second?
The reason for that last sentence, the word shall, is that it's non-discretionary. If you show that your car was legally parked and it was damaged by a village vehicle, you get paid.
Do I have a second? Discussion.
So just a couple of points. If you don't have anything or anything like that, your car's worth $300, and you haven't had a collision or anything on it forever. You bang into the fender, everybody knows you can't get a fender for less than $3,000. So you give the guy a $500 check. He does nothing with it.
No, they have to provide proof that they paid $500 in repairs. Yeah.
Where the law is written, they have to provide proof that the damage was of a certain value.
So they have to take it somewhere and have it appraised.
Yes, I mean, you have a piece of paper to show that we're not favoring anybody.
Okay.
We've got objective proof that the damage was X.
And so we're now gonna take care of the people who have fire issues. What about the people who have tree issues?
That's a separate issue. Let's not get too far astray.
Oh, well, that's not a separate issue. If.
Unless they're driving a
there's
tree.
Something in the law already that covers that, trees falling, trees on village property that fall and damage a house.
There has to be affirmative notice. It's like a pothole.
Okay. So if that tree I see over there by the auditorium, I don't know that to be dead or alive, and it looks like it's alive, but a lot of my trees were alive, and then they all came down. How do you do prior notice?
I think what would happen is that there would be a claim against the village. We'd send it on to an insurance company, and the insurance company would cover it if we were like.
Okay. And the same thing will hold true for floods. If the village approved something by accident, the pipe burst and all the water went into Peterson's basement. Are we liable for that too?
If we're liable, our insurance will cover it. But with emergency vehicles operating under, addressing the emergency, which, plowing snow is defined as that. The existing law says we do not have to pay. So since we don't answer return to our insurance company, B, it's an infrequent event, then as long as we treat everyone equally, then we can take care of the damage we cause if we should.
Yeah, I'm aware of only twice in 10 years this has happened.
So semi-related, the guys are driving the truck, picking up the leaves Monday morning and they hit something. That's not an emergency situation, but our insurance would cover that.
I
because-
believe our insurance will.
Right, because there's no
There's no
blanket statement about emergency.
Right.
Yeah. So this is a very specific set of circumstances.
Yes.
than just traditional New York State negligence law. would cover that.
All right.
We're gonna hold a public hearing.
Yes.
I'll make a-
All right, second.
Yes.
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 Yes. All right. Deductibles. Griffin's Ridge.
So,
Griffin's Ridge Trails, quick summary for those who aren't familiar with it. When this project went in, the plans called for 3 trails. One, the South Trail bends along here, a Y trail along here, and I call it the Peck Ave extension that goes along here, the north side. These are the original drawings that if you can read, you can't read it, but it says pedestrian paths along here, here, and along here. So those are the original drawings, I think. And this is, let's see, that was my last dog. So that was probably 10 years ago. This is or 8 years ago. This is the Peck Ave Trail that leads from Peck Ave in the village to Griffin's Ridge this way. And it comes out here. There was some discussion on whether this trail actually exists, and I will tell you it does exist. I use it extensively in the winter when the Zim Smith is unwalkable due to ice and hard packed snow, and with the melting and freezing, it's can be very dangerous for weeks at a time to walk on that. So, and this is the southernmost trail. It goes down to here. I don't know if you can see, and then loops, not loops, but bends to the left. This was from Mr. Belmonte, the original plans for the paths. Crushed stone, concrete stone dust. And this is the trail from Zim Smith. Zim Smith is down here and leading into Griffin's Ridge, this section here. Here is the southern branch of the Y. And I think that's it for that. Erosion on the bottom part of this has been a problem since I went back to my old photos. Because I've been walking this trail for decades, and before there were houses here, and I've been documenting it, and erosion has always been a problem. And Mr. Belmonte tried a couple times to address it, but not successfully. So as far as the Y path, as you're probably aware, the engineer and Johnny, the head of DPW, were over there yesterday and we looked at it and we just determined that, there. I don't have it. Excuse me. The erosion was just too bad. We could put stones in, but it would continue to flood and not flood, but erode and bring debris into the catch basins and clog them up and have dirt and dust and sand in the driveways and the grass, and it was just not feasible. So we made the decision to correct this problem by paving about 72 feet. And I know they dug it out and I don't know if it's been paved. So that should solve the erosion problem. There will be a separate issue with some people of not liking the gravel path, but at this point, we're not going to pave it or do anything like that. What we will do is make sure we weed it. I did buy a 5-gallon backpack weeder so we can spray it and keep the dandelions down. And the other issue, where'd that go? With this path here, there is a legitimate issue of motor vehicles going down here. It's not appropriate for motor vehicles because there's a hill and it bends around 90 degrees. So I think a reasonable compromise to allow pedestrian access, because I've heard from a number of people who have been opposed to closing off pedestrian access. So a reasonable compromise would be to do something to keep motorized vehicles from going down there while allowing pedestrians. It could be some plants here and a bollard here or something. I'll discuss that with our DPW supervisor to see what would be the most feasible. So with that, I've said my piece. So open it up for board discussion.
One thing that raises my curiosity on all this business with the trails, that the trails, when we did the PDD, the trails were put in for a reason, connections, put in for a reason. And the reason was to draw the Griffin's Ridge people and the village as close together as possible. Because obviously the Griffin's Ridge people were in the village center. So we had the PDD address that with the access. And we've effectively closed the Peck Avenue trail.
No, we didn't close it. We put
There's rock.
no, there's an opening.
There's a gully.
Yeah.
There, I mean, I was on it this morning. I mean, and I'm an old man. I can do it.
But past the deer and the other shop,
Right.
there's a gully. Until we build a bridge there, it's a meaningless connection between the two parts.
So
of
you
the
have to
road.
jump over the piece of concrete.
You don't jump over anything. Jesus, what? It's perfectly passable. Good Lord, you're an outdoorsman?
I don't know, and that's the question for the attorney. If we do anything with any of these trails, are we in violation, if we close them, all of them?
We cannot close them because, they were taken as parkland.
Right, okay, that's what my point. So it's part of PDD, taken as parkland. They've got to exist.
But we can do something to discourage vehicle access to them.
I agree with you. I don't want these people who live along that southern end to be, 2:00 in the morning having 4 wheels.
Now, we have enough snowmobiles doing that in the village at 2:00 in the morning, you know.
Can we get a reasonable response. So don't drag this into the fall.
Yeah, I've already got the plants picked out from Brookside. But I will be gone for the next 10 days in Kentucky to visit my grandson, so.
So is that gonna happen? The plants are gonna be put there at the,
Hang on. This is board discussion, I'm sorry.
sorry,
So, I mean, that's all I did. I just think the trails ought to stay open in some fashion because they are part. And
well,
they,
it's
and
not,
they were part of the deal.
right, it's not like legally they have to say.
Yeah, they have to stay. But I also like to see where we can protect, some of these people who I wouldn't want, people on, that's a pretty close, distance between the one house and the thing.
Especially down at the bottom where it curves, yeah.
And it's not that far.
Yeah, I'd be worried about snowmobiles going down there and not making the turn.
Motor vehicles are not allowed on the Zim Smith Trail unless they're doing municipal repair.
Except that Saratoga County, yeah.
Not-
Motor vehicle, for some reason I can't tell. And the snowmobiles are specifically permitted on the Zim Smith Trail.
with a speed limit of 25, which is. Yeah,
Yeah.
all right, so does that sound like a reasonable plan?
Yeah, but I think if there's, I'd like to see a minute or two to some of the people who were most affected by this, if they have some thoughts or want to contribute us an idea or something.
I have one question. Not about this one. I didn't understand the why. Are we paving them
Paving the 72 feet
on the south?
where the
Southern part?
bad erosion is, yes.
You know, yeah, where it slopes up, does paving actually, will paving actually solve the problem, or will the water undermine paving? Put in some.
I'm going but with the recommendation of our civil engineer. We were there yesterday looking at it. And Johnny, the DPW. I'm not gonna second guess them, and they said that's the solution. That or concrete, and concrete's
Is there
more expensive.
more grass?
Yeah. Hang on, let's stay on topic here. So we have public comment after two more short things, so we can get input then. But not,
Sorry about the why. Why don't we just pave it?
because some people want it paved, some people don't want it paved. And I personally, myself, don't think it's a natural gravel path. Like, we can do more to keep weeds from growing on it, but even the weeds don't get high, they're worn down. Yeah. And generally speaking, paving's not great because you want stuff to soak in. All right, so I'll talk to Johnny, and when I get back from Kentucky in 2 weeks, I'll pick up the plants. And then talk about putting a bollard in the middle, maybe with a sign, no motor vehicles on it.
A couple of decent sized plants. Maybe on either side of it
Yeah.
somehow.
Yep.
Motor vehicles don't go down the other hand, the wide hand.
I haven't heard.
Well, golf carts, yeah, go everywhere.
Yeah, they're allowed on parkland. They're legal on parkland. Alrighty. Next, Van Patten contract. Tom, you wanna?
Yeah.
Talk about the contract?
So this morning we received a fully executed, contract from, Ronald Wayne Van Patten to sell his property at the, northeast corner of the village, to the village. we promptly, put our deposit. And so we're ready to consummate that, but there is, one issue. And that is, we have reserved the right to do an environmental inspection of the property. Now, usually those go in stages. Stage one is, and an engineering firm will kind of look at the history of the area to see whether there was ever the type of use that's would have resulted in petroleum or asbestos or lead contamination. And if there is none, they may go no further. If it's not clear, they may dig some test holes. And more invasive testing would be, they would touch base with us and say, do you want us to test further? But at least I would recommend that the village do a stage one environmental evaluation of the property. If we discover contamination, we can back out of the deal, put it into our contract. We don't have to do it, but I recommend that we do it.
And Jason Lamont Engineering would do it?
I'm pretty sure that would be well within his wheelhouse, yeah.
Okay, Susan, you want to get in touch with them tomorrow? Okay.
And
So,
other than that, there are no more decisions to make because we're not bound by contract.
all right, and I will make a motion that whereas the Village of Round Lake submitted an application. Oops, wrong one. Nope, that's for the tree grant.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's it.
so we don't need anything more for that, correct?
Play it safe and have a resolution authorizing you to order a stage one, and I'll get that done tomorrow.
So moved.
So, second.
Discussion?
I just curious, the point, as many times I've been up there, if you come in from Route 9, back in the old days, people had trees down up there for years. But that down before the first curve, there's this bumper lot thing. That's all,
Are you on the correct side?
I think it's on the right-hand side,
The right hand is Malta.
as you go around the curve, first curve, you start going down. This is
Going down the bypass?
I'm not walking.
water.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's a bumper like thing built into the side of the slope.
It's an old septic thing.
Is that what it is? Okay.
I'm sorry.
Now, that's part of, I think is part of the easement, the
Yeah.
Saratoga plan easement.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Tom,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Yes. All right, and one more. I'm happy to announce that the village was awarded a Department of Environmental Conservation grant. And I'd like to thank Paula Doyle and Mark Marion and Stuart Galway in particular for their work on getting this grant. And whereas the Village of Round Lake submitted an application for an urban and community forestry grant, and whereas the application was granted, and the village has been selected for funding in the amount of $73,882.50. Now therefore it is resolved that the mayor is authorized and directed to take all actions necessary to receive the aforesaid grant and to execute and deliver all documents and information necessary to finalize the grant process. Do I have a second? Second discussion.
What are we gonna do with the 73? Kind of-
Oh, there was a whole plan that if you
Part of it.
dig through your emails, you'll find something. Yeah, it's taken down. There's high priority trees that have to come down, medium priority trees that have to
So
come
the
down.
Grant is gonna take. care of-
Pruning, trimming, classes on how to prune trees, things like that. So. Tom,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Yes. And we have 3 appointments. I make a motion to appoint Joanne McDonough as Health Officer, Bob Clayton as Parking Enforcement and Animal Control, Peter Sheridan as Code Enforcement Officer for the budget year. Do I have a second? Discussion.
Yes.
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 Yes. All right, any comments for the good of the order? All right, then I will, since time is permitting, open it up to public comment. Yes, ma'am. Please, stand and identify yourself, please, for the posterity.
The question was raised as to why we're not paving, completely paving the White House.
Mhm.
You stated, Gary, that some want it and some don't. I don't recall a survey going around about that. And I do recall you saying that it would be too expensive.
Yes, I don't recall a survey going around saying it should be paved either.
No, we do live there. This is,
Right, but we had the same,
It's important, and aesthetically especially, and I do think it's gonna be dangerous for, you're gonna have a pavement and then a dip down, and you said you're gonna weed. Are you going to fix it? Are you gonna bring more gravel in?
I'm not sure what you're talking about. It dips down. I'm not sure what you're talking about when you say it dips down.
Well, when you put blacktop and pave,
Yes,
how are you gonna even it out with the path?
they will even it out.
Well, again, I believe you said it would be an additional $15,000, which doesn't sound like a lot to us, to all of us.
That's our entire budget for non-road paving for the next year. So, because
Yeah.
not 90% of our money comes from the state for paving. And we can only use it for roads.
So as far as Griffin's Ridge goes, you come in, the village will, you pave our roads. What else is it? What else are our taxes going towards?
That's a separate issue. We're here to discuss.
I mean, we're just concerned about the path. We really are. And I know this is.
Okay, I know some people are concerned about paving it as well.
This has been a discussion with you for well over a year.
It has,
Well,
it has. And it's a matter of aesthetics. I prefer a rustic looking path. I don't like paving. I hated having to pave that, but it was a last resort. But you bought a house next to a path that was there, that was in the plans.
but you see how it's eroded?
No,
It's not kept, well, it did, the weather, it's already shown it.
yeah, but that was the part we addressed. The part you're talking about is not eroding. And I,
have also agreed that you would weed it. It's never been.
all right, that I will take the blame for that and we will do a better job of it this year.
Last week.
Andy, if you have something to say, please raise your hand, stand up and speak.
And I will stand up.
Thank you.
Years, nothing's been done to those paths whatsoever. The path parking along my house is fully grown with weeds. Okay, not to say I don't like it, but the bottom line is, there's nothing that's been done to those paths. In like 35 years, there's nothing that's been done in our development. As a matter of fact, I'd like to point out the fact that somebody installed a kiosk by our mailbox. And instead of installing a new kiosk, it was a repurposed one from the village, and the village installed new kiosks. And
They were all bought at the same time.
no, they weren't. Your kiosks are nice kiosks that are made of fiberwood, I think. That one's not. It looks horrible where it is.
All right.
Okay, what I'm trying to say.
All right,
is,
you don't like the kiosk.
respect to that, Nick. That's what I'm saying. Okay, and secondly, I'd like to talk about option, number one. Okay, the tower. We're talking about spending $300,000.
No,
I think, whoa, no, wait, between taking it down and putting it up.
130,000.
The bids are $150,000, $200,000.
The bid is $130,000 with a 15%
And then secondly.
on the bid.
And then secondly, I'd like to say this, is there a plan for the auditorium? Did somebody do a survey determining what needs money to make it operational? And what should be done?
Yes.
In other words, what is the priority?
Yes,
okay?
And that was, I believe, you're asked a question, I will answer it. Yes, and I believe it was mailed to residents a couple of years ago when we did it.
The last thing I can say is we're replacing the tower in kind. There's other options available to make it still look historically presentable, but not be, number one, not expense. Number two, make it so that it's not a maintenance burden to the town.
Thank you.
Okay?
Anyone further comments? Jim?
Why don't we have a open comment period at the beginning?
Because this is a workshop. We do at the regular meeting. Yes.
And the time permitting thing, what's that? I mean, what's the, is there?
I'm an old man.
Is it 20 minutes? Is it an hour? Is it?
If it were 9 o'clock, if it were 9 o'clock, I'd want to go home and go to bed. Yes. Somebody else had a hand up here?
Yeah, I was just, Rick Laughlin, I ordered the
Yeah,
North Trail. And, all I ever asked for was, just to have it cleaned up a little, I mow there and walk stones and stuff, just so it can be groomed a little more defined and a little more groomed. And that was okay, as long as it's groomed a little better and defined. Which you say you're gonna be doing shortly. No. Clean up.
Mayor, I think
Yes.
that, I'm gonna basically say the same thing Ray said, and secondly, my issue and Patty's issue with the trail is the ATVs, the carts.
you wait, when you say trail, you mean the Zim Smith or the one behind your house?
We don't, the motor vehicles, whatever you use on the trail, they're way out of, our reach. As far as.
The snowmobiles? What do you mean out of your reach?
In other words, they don't come down the trail.
But the
They
golf
say,
carts right up next to my
Oh.
bedroom window, like
Yes.
4 feet away from my.
I
bedroom
think
window.
we've already addressed that, so we're kind of going over the same.
No, I know that, we already addressed it, you addressed it with the cars. But there was.
No, I mean, we addressed it this evening.
There was one down.
All right.
Okay, I can tell you what color it is, but I don't want to tell you. In front of everyone.
But at the moment, they're legal on village property.
You're legal on village property.
Yes.
So you guys already made a comment that they should not be traveling down the trail.
For safety reasons, we can
Safety.
change it, but yes, and we're kind of going in circles here because we've already said we're going to keep motorized vehicles off the south track.
And it comes to the point I want to say, forget the plants. Put a couple 4x4 posts. In. This way, there's no waiting down there.
Not a bad idea.
I do 3 about it.
Okay, Mr. Stata.
I had a couple ideas for you guys on your tennis courts. There's a grid pattern, it's like a honeycomb. And you put it down and then you fill it up with soil.
Yeah.
It's a park.
Yep.
So there's 3. Yeah, but I think they guarantee you for 15 years. It's also.
Yeah, we have looked at that and it's fairly expensive
Okay.
and
Also used-
we can't use state money for that kind of stuff. So that would have to come out of property tax money.
Also used for.
Isn't that parkland? That's not parkland?
Y- Using it for parking is, I don't think legitimate. For my, believe me, I've looked at all sorts of ways for paying this stuff. And last time I looked at it, Parkland Fund wasn't really for paving
It's not paving, that's.
or basically, yeah. I'll look at it again because that's a good
I'm
idea.
just thinking,
You put the pavement down, but you still have the water going in the same direction.
Yeah.
Unless you use the pavement as the sluice line.
What's
So
it
that
called?
happens sometimes on the road.
What's it called? I'm blanking out on what it's called. Trying to take a note.
Pavement, you go grass. For this gentleman.
It's honeycombs.
There's a good, thing down at the Lentil Bridge on the bike trail. You know, how that's two steep grades going down. You remember that, the way they put the post up? You would have to get off your bicycle and walk your bicycle through it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's just,
Kids just fly down.
I know, but that would eliminate any.
You still got the e-bikes cost.
Yeah.
Vehicles going down. That was it. I thought maybe that product could help you on the erosion too on that.
Yeah.
Actually, that might be a good idea, because if you go up to that, Little road, and then when you go down to that bridge, you kind of have to.
Yeah,
maneuver
kinda.
This way, before you can cross the bridge.
Yeah.
And so you can't bring an ATV or a golf cart or anything like that down. If you do a bike, you gotta get off the bike and maneuver it around.
Yeah. All right, good.
It's a pretty good idea.
Good ideas,
So
Doug.
They may not do that on the Zim Smith Trail because snowmobiles are specifically allowed by the county. But our trails are
Right.
controlled by us, and
Yeah.
we can prohibit snowmobiles. And put up bollards in the middle of the path.
Stuff called GeoCell, Gary.
Geo,
$128 for 8.5 feet by 27 feet, so I don't think that's all that expensive.
that's not that bad.
So there you go, you got.
Geo cell,
Yeah,
Per car.
well, 27 feet, yeah, right, per car.
It's come down considerably. Every 10 years.
People park, if you look at the pictures, it's grass growing. People park there.
People park there in the grass.
Parks there in the winter, it's fine, you know,
Yeah.
what's the big deal?
You don't even know, it doesn't have the grass.
I still say leave it alone.
I grew up during Woodstock. I look at Woodstock, what happened, and the grass all came back, so. I'm not terribly exercised about it. Okay, any more?
You went to Woodstock.
The city pool.
No, I
Explains a lot.
No. I didn't.
Oh, you were there?
I went to Watkins Glen the next year, but that was it. I was as close as I came.
I'm pretty sure. I did stuff.
All right, if there's no more comments, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Unanimous? Tom?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
All the time. Well, I don't know, always. And then the dog barks at you. And then I get in trouble for that.